Welcome back. This is Pillow Talk. Thanks for tuning in. This is season 3, the second to last episode, almost the season finale. What you just saw was a close-up of a body part, my mustache. It is a part of something. It's a part of a bigger body. And just like there are parts of bodies, there are pre-parts of bodies. Things that come before the body. That are components, that are smaller bits, and they add together to make a body. That's what we're going to talk about tonight in the pillows. Join me in the bedroom studio. We're going to go there right now. Get real comfy. We have a very special guest. He's already here in the pillows, very comfortable. His name is Joe Ferrell. Welcome.
The one and only Joe Ferrell. Now listen up, everybody. We've wanted to have Joe Ferrell on this program for a long time, but something has been holding it back. One little thing's been getting in the way. It's been getting in the way like a little blocker tool. That is this. He is too handsome for this show. Every time I look at him, I don't want to be around him because I look like a nincompoop around this guy. Weren't we talking about that earlier, Tam? This guy is just the handsomest devil this side of the Missouri River.
That's right, we were talking about it earlier today, and he's such a handsome devil that you can imagine he's very popular with the ladies. In fact, he's got himself a wifey.
Yeah.
And not just a wifey, but also a little hot in the oven.
A little bit of a... It's
right
like...
now. A baby.
It's a baby in the
Baby's
oven.
coming.
Yeah, not in his oven because this is not an Arnold Schwarzenegger situation. It is he is just his own man and he's doing his own thing, but he did do an impregnation.
Yes.
Now, we also have Pip with us, just so you know. He's a little squeezed here with boys' night. But here he is. He's got his schnoz up here. He schnoz in the armpit. But anyway, listen to this. This is the second to last episode of Season 3. Very exciting. We want to give a big shout out to JonBoy for that incredible new introduction you just saw. Wowzer!
What a great intro. Everyone would agree that it's a whole different direction. We didn't expect it. There's things happening in that intro that were not happening before. And
It's
thanks,
also
Don.
I also have a very interesting arm situation going on right now.
What's
See,
going
it's
on
like
with
a
the
triangle. Got this. See this arm? I don't know what to do about it, but I like it. So anyway, we are talking about bodies before their bodies, and that is because this guy right in between us here had some very potent stuff happening out of his body, and it started making another body. Mm-hmm. Now, Tam, do you have any questions about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we're on the theme of bodies here. We're talking about pre-bodies and things that are making bodies that that weren't there before.
Mm-hmm.
Components, constituents.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna need to come back to me on this one.
Okay, I know. There's so many questions to ask, but I have something that I want to ask, and that's this. Okay, now, so you're just at home, being a guy.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the doorbell rings.
Sure.
But you're in a romantic situation
Mm-hmm.
with your future wife.
Okay.
You decide, you know what? Let it ring. Let it ring and ring and ring and ring. It's ringing the whole time. You are keeping your romantic situation going. All of a sudden, a few months later, she's pregnant. What happened to your mind in that moment?
So you're saying I got distracted. I'm thinking
You
about...
got distracted, but
thinking
you
about-
pulled it together is what I'm saying. That's the moral of the story. You were focused, so focused,
I was so
that the
focused.
doorbell ring. It could have been the President of the United States of America. You don't care. Let it ring. Let it ring. Let it ring. I am focused on the task at hand. So focused, in fact, that some magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like to hear about the fact that the magic happened?
Wait. What about
And
the
by-
doorbell?
The doorbell,
What about the
that's
doorbell?
not, yeah, exactly. What about the doorbell? Exactly.
It could
That's-
have been an airplane.
Okay,
It could have been
was
an airplane.
It
That's
was really
that's
loud.
just a
It was-
preamble.
Alright, I didn't answer the door.
Yeah, you didn't
didn't
answer the
answer the
door.
door.
That's the end of the doorbell part of the
Then months
of the answer.
later, I hear about the magic.
Yes.
And it's shocking.
It's shocking.
It's shocking. It blows your mind.
It blows your mind.
You don't expect a baby.
You didn't expect a baby.
You don't expect it.
Right.
And then it comes.
Were you more sad or mad or happy?
Or wait, or glad. That's the other option.
Sad, mad, or glad?
Sad, mad, or glad? I was glad.
Were you happy, sappy, or zappy?
A little zappy, and then no, happy. I'll say.
Happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you surprised, mesmerized, or pulverized?
Pulverized. Definitely pulverized.
Emotionally or physically?
Emotionally, primarily. Yeah, it really tears up the insides.
From the inside out. Yeah. Now, Tam, I obviously came up with this question I had planned for weeks about the doorbell ringing and how that tied into everything. Now that I've gotten that out, do you have your question ready?
Yeah, I've got some. Okay. So, we got these. You order pizza.
Mm-hmm.
The pizza's coming.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's hot. And you know that you have 20 minutes. 20 minutes before the pizza guy comes.
Is he the one who rang the doorbell?
No. Let's say that he didn't ring the door.
Forget about the doorbell.
Yeah, forget about the doorbell.
The doorbell
Let's
was
see.
an introduction to the question
Alright.
to get the audience into the moment.
So this is a different.
This is a completely different thing. Completely different thing.
Alright.
Yeah. So this is the pizza guy. The pizza guy's coming. You got 20 minutes.
Okay.
And you're having a good time, but you're getting hungry.
Yeah.
And the 20 minutes isn't soon enough. Isn't soon enough.
20 minutes is I'm not hungry.
20 minutes. You're starving, and 20 minutes is not soon enough.
Okay.
20 minutes is way too long, and you can't wait that long.
No way.
Yeah.
And you have to stop what you're doing.
Okay.
You have to stop it, and you have to get some food. Go to the fridge, get chocolate milk,
Yeah.
Belgian chocolate milk.
Make a
or
sandwich,
Bulgarian,
maybe.
Make a sandwich.
Waffle.
Sure. Sure.
How do you do it?
How do I do it? What do I do? So you're saying, okay, I make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I go to the fridge and I get some bread out,
Okay.
get some spreads.
Okay.
What are you
Little
spreading? It's not what do you don't say spreads, it's peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. So
That's
peanut butter.
what you're calling spreads?
Yeah, a crunchy peanut butter.
A crunchy peanut butter.
Yeah.
Are we talking Safeway brand, run of the mill? Or are we talking Whole Foods raw peanut butter?
Whole Foods, not raw, just, the regular brand.
But
But I gotta say, I think that
what kind of jam?
I think the pizza's gonna be there by the time I finish this.
That's not the point of the question. You gotta
Alright.
forget about the pizza.
Yeah,
It's
because
more
the
about-
20 minutes is not soon
It's
enough.
not-
That's why you're going to the kitchen.
Okay,
That's why you're
exactly.
making the peanut butter.
Oh, you know what?
toast.
Actually, I want to redact the sandwich. I would make a toast with an egg in the hole. You ever make one of those?
It's called an egg in the hole.
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 You used to eat them all the time.
Yeah,
All the
it's,
time.
I haven't made one of those. I
Yep.
actually don't know what the cook time is. What is the cook time?
It's very fast. It's maybe like a 2-minute snack. A lot of protein.
Well, in 20 minutes you could have
Got the carbs.
You could have a lot.
10
You could have 10 of those.
I could have
10
10,
of
yeah.
those. Yeah.
I
So
would
it's an
like
it's an economic decision for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting answer to that question. Very interesting answer. To that.
I'd also like to jump into
Yeah.
the quote now, which
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
need to get my phone.
Okay, so we have this very special guest on, Joe Ferrell, and he is a reader. This guy reads, and am I telling you he reads a lot? And am I also telling you this? He's a writer. He writes a lot. He's reading, he's writing, he's talking about reading and books all the time. Every time I see him, have you read this book? Have you read this book? And yes, I have, because I read all the books. But there's one book he was reading. It was really big. It was a manly book called Infinite Jest. And it was by an author named Paul Tompkins Jr. And we have a quote about it.
Just as a little bit more of a backstory, Joe told me that he read this book and he was telling it just to me, and I know him well, so he wasn't bragging, and he didn't know that I was going to tell so many people. But Joe read Infinite Jest, a whopping 1,100 pages, and on the last page, after finishing the final sentence, he turned the book over to start reading it again.
This is the
right
kind
in
of
that
person we're
moment.
talking about.
Yeah, and what Van said is true. Joe was walking around saying, "Have you read this book? Have you read that book? Let me tell you about this book. Let me tell you about that book." But when he's not talking about books and he's walking down the street and he's quiet and he's looking off, I know he's thinking about writing. And he's not actually writing because you can't do that in your head. It's hard. You got to edit. It's part of the typing
you can't
thing.
remember everything
You can't remember
either.
everything that you're writing in your head. But he's thinking about how soon he can get home to that typewriter. He writes an old classic typewriter. He's a classic guy.
An old Neven 5000.
That's right.
Yeah.
New ribbons.
That's
though.
the brand.
Yeah. And I'll leave my phone right there to get that quote. It's already pulled up. It'll be easy to read. I took off my passcode. I've been feeling very safe these days. No more passcode. Okay. The quote is, again from Infinite Jest, Paul Tompkinson. I do things like get in a taxi and say, the library, and step on it.
It's a beautiful quote.
What does that make you think about? What does that make you feel? How does that tie into books? I mean, because it could
Because libraries have books.
Yeah, but it could be about anything. Because the library could have a good coffee shop nearby it, or there could be all sorts of things. It's contextual.
Yeah, and also books sometimes have magazines, and DVDs, and CDs.
I think it's about urgency. He gets in the taxi and he says, step on it. And in a book, you need to slow down and take your time. So he's calling attention the urgency in our culture and asking that we slow it down, take our time, read the book.
I like that.
So it's a bit like Pandora's box.
It's exactly like that.
Pandora's box in the sense that the box is at the library.
Exactly.
And he's stepping on a ticket to the library. But in libraries, my only confusion here, now, Joe's a very heady guy. That's why
that's why we want to dive in a little bit, just to make sure we all get it.
Yeah, because I'm a little bit unclear on a certain point. Okay, so the library is a place where people read. Usually you're stationary, you're sitting, you're not moving, and you're definitely slow there. Why does he step on it to get to a place where people are not doing
because at the library, people are not, they're just
So
reading.
what's the rush?
What's the rush?
Can you repeat the quote for me?
I'm really glad that you asked to repeat the quote.
I think it bears repeating.
I do things like get in a taxi and say, the library, and step on it.
But like Tam was just saying, the library is a place where people are just calmly doing things. So why would you...
Well, I guess that's a good point. Why is he asking to step on it if he's going to the library?
That's why
Is
we're
he going
asking
to
you.
the library, or is he going from something? He doesn't mention the quote because he doesn't want to talk about it. He's trying to avoid it.
Is he trying to escape something?
That's what I'm talking about.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that.
Maybe that is the beauty of books, that we can't ever answer the questions they pose.
That's a very good point. Speaking about questions and answers and all that sort of stuff, I just have one more question for our guest here, and then we need to start wrapping things up.
Have we reached the middle 10?
We have, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we're behind.
What's it?
I think we're behind schedule.
Oh, okay, we're behind schedule. But I just have a quick question here. Okay, you're at home. It's late at night, but it's nice out. It's sunny out, but it's not sunny anymore because it's night out. But it was sunny. It's a nice warm breeze. And you're reading a magazine. You're reading Popular Digest.
Popular Digest.
The doorbell rings. Okay. You're just still reading the magazine. You're trying to finish the article. You get up to go to the doorbell. Halfway there, you realize, I don't need to answer the doorbell. I'm going to go make some toast. But then you start making the toast, and you're thinking to yourself, this doesn't feel right either. I'm going to go to my wife-to-be and have a romantic time together. What do you think that would make you feel like?
And you don't have to answer right away. If you need more time to
If you want me to think about it.
Yeah.
you can think about it. Because it is a hard question.
Yeah, it's very
So
hard.
you should think about it.
So the doorbell's ringing.
Doorbell's ringing. You were reading a magazine, Popular Digest.
Right.
You almost answer the door, and then you say, I don't want to answer the door. I'm going to make a snack. You make some toast with an egg in it. You decide to go talk to your wife-to-be and have a romantic experience with her. How does that make you feel to have that experience with her in that moment?
I think it makes me feel pretty good.
Interesting.
End of that.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that Joe's right. I think it is as simple as that just being a nice thing. That does sound enjoyable.
It does sound
Very
enjoyable.
peaceful.
It does sound enjoyable. Okay, so we need to start wrapping it up now. But as we often do, to wrap things up, we like to have a little fun. Because this is a serious show. We talk a lot about serious issues. But first, actually, I remember we do have one other quick thing we need to update everybody on, which is an election update. Tam, in 30 seconds or less, this isn't even a discussion. I just want a monologue about a quick election update on what's going on in the election.
Those teams are having a lot of trouble. They've sent their main players to the stage, and they've been giving it their all, and they've been trying different tactics than what were tried before. There's some surprises, yet really they're not surprises, because people knew that those main players would act like that at the end of the game like this. The Republicans and the Democrats have to redefine themselves. And that's the name of the game, and the game's almost over.
Thank you so much. We just like to keep everyone updated in case you don't get your news from other places. If this is a place where you get your news, we need to keep you involved in the election. Anyway, so we also always like to end with a little bit of fun. A little bit of a fun time, and so this is no different. We are going to do a thing where we have a song, and the song is by Tam, and the song this week is going to be about Joe. And it's going to be about how Joe is very handsome, so handsome that we haven't had him on the show yet, and also about his impregnations. So, you're going to start singing on the countdown from 5. Actually, this is a tough one. I'm going to go from 6.
And also, this is a really tough one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go from 6, and we're gonna have you sing it.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Let's switch it up.
Okay.
Shall
okay.
we?
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give you 6 or 7. I can do 7.
Give me 7.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When I first saw him, he looked so calm and wise. But then the more I got to know him, the more he felt so funny, the more he was alive with all the emotions inside. And then he met a woman that I knew, and he loved her like I loved myself. And then all of a sudden, was that at the door? It's a ring, 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 it's a doorbell, ring, ring. Did he get up? No, he didn't. He kept on giving to a big nation all around town. Now it's time for Clementine. And he's still alive.
That was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song.
Incredible.
Touched on so many points that are necessary to discuss while Joe is a guest here on the Pillows, and it really wraps together everything we did tonight, and there's no better ending than that. Thank you, Van. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on as well. Obviously, I shouldn't be thanking you because this is also my show. But we love you guys. Thank you so much to Joe. He's an amazing man, and hopefully someday you'll get to meet him. Also, quick reminders, keep the Venmos coming. We're not going to announce this week what we've got, but it's looking good, but we need a little extra juice. Keep it coming.
Yeah. And as I said before, we will mention some of the names of people who have viewed the previous episode but have not yet Venmo'd us.
We have records of everyone who's watching, and we know who's not sending money. So just know that there's that's a thing that might happen later.
Allie Buckley,
Jonathan Chu,
Dalton Abbott,
Bruce Abbott,
Joe Ferrell,
Emily Seagraves.
And that's it.
And as always,
As always,
sleep well.